Eden, or welcome to more Starbound. Right, today we are going to do another boss battle. This is the Bone Dragon, which, yeah, not the best name. And believe me, the model is weird. You'll see. But what we do, again, is preparing our little arena. And the Bone Dragon represents pretty much the move to, I guess, the second but last quadrant. So I guess it's the gamma, I think. I could be wrong. Maybe it's the delta. I forget. I always forget alpha, beta, gamma, delta, all that. I always get it the wrong way. Anyway, so the way this works is you have to craft what they call a decoy princess out of fabric, metal, steel, things like that. And you then have to fight what is effectively quite a badass boss. Now, it's interesting because the boss is certainly in Terraria, which again, I know I keep referencing this game too, but to me, it's kind of space age Terraria, TBH. But what I kind of thought with this one is certainly how kind of unlike Terraria the bosses are. They're all, look at that. That's it. That's literally it, bro. That is it. So it's a big bone dragon. Couldn't tell you why. Really couldn't tell you why. And basically none of my weapons work against it. So as you can see, yep, that's not going to work. If I keep jumping, it's going to wipe the floor with me. So what I did was just reinforce the floors with a bit of cobblestone block, which are quite strong. And then pretty much just use my United States, what was it? Colony Marine? I don't know, the pulse rifle from Aliens, basically. The Colonial Marines, that was it. Do you remember the game? Did you play the game Colonial Marines? The one that came out maybe like a year ago? What a shame. Literally, I think the review for that should have just been, what a shame. So anyway, running our pulse rifle, and as you can see, I've had to speed this up a phenomenal amount because it just takes forever to kill him. So while in the background we just sit here and shoot this dude pretty categorically, let's just talk maybe about the bosses in this game. The bosses so far, what you have seen is the UFO penguins, which I thought was quite clever because they actually had the ability to break blocks. So that I think gave them certainly the advantage. To be honest, they're the only one that feels finished as well. The second one we saw was the deactivated robot, which could be trapped within blocks. At least I believe it could. I managed to do it. Now, I don't think it's supposed to be, because again, I remember fighting it before and it was able to jump through blocks. Now we move on to the Bone Dragon, which again, the name just makes me smile because it's like a male porn star name, isn't it? Anyway, we won't go to that. I just thought that this was a bit weak. And as you can see, it's completely hindered by blocks. So as our Bone Dragon just sits there and spazzes out, as you can see, he's now completely blocked. This kind of bothered me. This is a shame, and I know I'm kind of exploiting it, but hey, I just wanted to move on and show you more of the game. And I think my issue with this was that the Terraria bosses were terrifying. If you've never played them, maybe I'll give you a link in the video or something to go and look at a boss battle. Because the bosses to me were always phenomenally tough, difficult, powerful things that could go through blocks, and really it took incredible skill to beat them. I wouldn't say that these are too bad, but maybe it's just their ability to move through blocks, maybe it's their ability to break blocks, etc. that I think just maybe makes these not terribly scary at all, because again, I'm using a level 1 gun. Literally, this is the first level gun found in the Alpha Quadrant on the starter planet that seems to be now wrecking the Bone Dragon, which is a shame really, because you'd have thought it'd been a bit tougher. But it's an Alpha, or is it Beta, is it now? I keep forgetting what they call it. I always get unsure about what the difference is, but this is apparently now more of a finished product than certainly it was. And I think, hopefully they do work a little bit more on the AI of some of these things, because the way that the boss is moved in Terraria but other games is obviously just that little bit better. But I'm not complaining, because obviously I do need to kill it to get past him. And again, it's probably worth noting. Oh, there we go, dead. And what he dropped was some resources. So basically he dropped a Dragon's Claw, which then becomes part of, I think, a Starship upgrade, which then takes me to, I think, the Gamma/Delta, can't remember which quadrant, that then pushes me further into deep space. Now, it's worth doing this because I know a lot of players generally tend to kind of, level up, then do the boss, then move into the next level, then spend the time doing all the content within that level, then moving on. I'd say that this game isn't really meant for that. I would say you're better off getting as far forward as you can, because the loot you'll find from chests, the materials you'll find will be more abundant, etc. So I think really, to me, it's just a no-brainer. to kind of keep pushing forward into the deeper quadrants as best you can. So there we go. We just did our upgrade there. That's now pushed. So as you see, it's opened up a lot more tech. So we've now got drills. We've now got quite a lot more exciting stuff. Even more tech. There's something called the Sky Line, something like that. Sky Rail. That was it. Sky Rail. And the Sky Rail basically is a monorail that you can hook onto and travel quickly across the planet. So kind of a nice. You'd need a lot of steel to make one, but again, at some point, probably once we've got to the level 10 planets, the end planets, we'll build a proper big base with, full turrets, sky rails, the whole lot. And this will then benefit, obviously, there. Obviously, the better armors there as well, so you can use the Dark Knight armors. They're pretty good. Is that what it's called, Dark Knight? I think it is, isn't it? There's probably a copyright there. But I think as it looks, the ability to progress through the bosses does unlock more stuff. So there's benefit to do it, because all of a sudden, a lot more things open up. Certainly things like the 3D printer capability has made life a lot easier, because getting money and building cheap lights instead of having to look for coal and wood is actually not too bad either. So there we go. It was the Delta, I believe. That is Delta. So this pushes us now into the Delta, so I think we'll just find a more suitable planet. But in essence, there we go. That's another boss battle down. And I think there's only 1 or 2 left to go, which is a shame. But at the end of the day, I imagine they're going to produce probably a lot more. I would imagine there's maybe going to be 10 or so different boss battles, maybe, as they develop this game. But there we go. Hope you enjoyed that. It is a great game. I know so many people are kind of a bit dubious of this, but I think it's worth a go. Hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.